Now, if you live in Florida, you know we've had a lot of criminals and public enemy number ones rolling through the state, but you ever heard about the Swamp Bandit? Or better known as the Ashely gang? Well, if you didn't, don't worry. I did some digging. Let's get into it. Now, to start this thing off, I gotta introduce you to John Ashely, all right? He was born in the late 1800s, all right? But when he was born, he didn't get all the screws, all right? Because when the turn of the century came, he was a big nuisance to the state of Florida. Now, as a teenager, John, he would do little small petty crimes. The police knew who he was, early in his career, but as he got older, the crimes he committed got a little bit more serious. Now, around 1915, he gets into, robbing banks, all right? And when you're robbing banks, you need you a crew. So that's what he does. He go and get his homeboys. And they form a gang called the Ashely gang. Now, John and his crew, they're terrorizing the Southwest Florida area, a little bit over there by the Everglades as well. And like I said, the police, they know him, all right? So he starts calling himself the King of the Everglades. Now, the reason why he decided to call himself the King of the Everglades is because they can't find him and they can't catch him. So he feels like he's doing something. He's pissing the police off. Matter of fact, the police, they come up with their own name for him. And it was called the Swamp Bandit. And he didn't like that. Now, this is Laura, okay? This is John's girlfriend / wife, all right? She comes into the picture and you would think, maybe she would encourage him not to, do what he's doing, but no. She with it, and she wants to be a part of the gang as well. Now, they're doing their thing for years, but when the 1920s hit, all right, Prohibition comes into the picture, and they see dollar signs. They see a lot of dollar signs. Now, when the Prohibition hit, a lot of bootlegging and rum running was going on, especially in Florida. I did a, video about New Smyrna. Y'all should check it out. But if you was, bootlegging or rum running around the time frame that the Ashely gang was around, your shipment might not have made it to where it was supposed to go. Now, with John, all right, and his homeboys, what they would do is, while they was, bootlegging, everybody going through the woods and doing all this other stuff, they would sit and they would wait, all right? And if they catch you, they taking everything you got. And not only that, his, wife or girlfriend, she would, sit on the side of the road, act like she broke down. You know what I'm saying? Damsel in distress. And when people come to help, they'll take everything they got. But things can't always go well for you, all right? Because in the midst of all of this going on, okay, they was robbing a bank. And when they got away from the bank, apparently one of the members of this, gang took all the money, beat up John, busted out his eye, bruh can't see. Well, they left John, all right? And then a mob of people, this is all over in Collier County, all right? A mob picked him up and said, look, where's the money that you just stole? He said, man, look, I ain't got the money. Feel me? One of my pals, they just went off on the whole crew and stole the money. So now John has a glass eye, all right? He wears a patch for the remainder of his life. And, just for, giggles, the media, they now started calling him the Glass Eye Gang. That's messed up. Now, this is Clarence, all right? This is John homeboy. Clarence goes to John and says, look, I got something we can make some more money on. And it's got to do with ships coming in. And John was down for it. So not only are they robbing banks, and not only are they robbing the bootleggers and moonshining themselves, they are now turning into pirates and robbing ships. But it was a specific kind of ship that they were robbing every time it came in. And these ships were coming from the Bahamas. But not only were they coming from the Bahamas, but they were coming from like Great Britain or something like that. And they only wanted to rob those ships. Now, it was said, okay, between 1915 all the way up to 1924 or 25 or something like that, all the crimes in Southwest Florida, 85% of the crimes came from this gang or somebody associated with this gang. Also, they named them the biggest threat to Florida since the Seminoles, but I'm thinking to myself, like, the Seminoles was here first. The threat should have been, you know what, never mind. Now, over in Palm Beach County, things change, all right? Because Sheriff Bob Baker, he's sick of that crap. And he's about to put a stop to it. So November 1st, 1924, Bob and a couple of, lieutenants, they kind of ambushed John, all right? And if you know anything about John, John wasn't going out without a fight. Now, over in Roslyn, Florida, they trapped John on a bridge, all right? And, they gave him an opportunity to turn himself in, but if you know anything about John, John ain't doing it. No. That's when things turned for the worse. Now, John and 3 of the lieutenants did not make it out of that situation, but, the whole time that they was, doing all these bank robberies and all of this stuff, they ended up robbing over 40 banks and over $1 million in cash. Now, mind you, that's not including, the robbing of the rum runners, them doing their own moonshine, you feel me? The ships, the pirate thing. None of that is included in that $1 million. They took a lot of money from people for a very long time. Now, they did do a movie, all right, about this gang. I did not see it. If you've seen this movie, please put it in the comments. Now, before I get out of here, I want to give y'all a little bank history, all right? So the first bank in Florida that opened up was in 1829. That was the Bank of Florida at Tallahassee, which later turned in Central Bank of Florida. That was in 1829. That was the first bank ever opened in Florida. Over in Pensacola, Florida, they got the Union Bank Museum. This is the oldest continuous bank in Florida. Opened up in 1841. Still here today. So this is the oldest bank in Florida. Now look, I don't, know what you're going to do to remember this. Like it, comment, share it. I don't know. But the more you know. Peace.